So Donald Trump, the Twitter tweeter toddler, is having a meltdown yet again. This time, bad job numbers came in. So what do? You fire the person who put out the numbers. And then if that's not enough to exert your rage on the world, you try to start a war. This is the headlines today, seriously. Trump says he moved 2 nuclear submarines after Russia's Medvedev warns U.S. What the heck? And, I'm the same with you guys. Like, how do we get on this timeline? Where is there the off ramp? If you find the off ramp from this timeline, guys, please let me know. This is crazy. This is the job numbers first. We talked about this in the last video, but I want to show you this chart that really shows where we are. So 73,000 jobs in July. That was the report. Then you had the downward revision on the prior 2 months, right? And this really illustrates, you can see revised down. And you're talking about May and June, the numbers were much, much less than what they originally reported. And essentially it shows that Trump's policy is absolutely destroying the economy, destroying the job market. He's declared war on global trade, essentially, declared war on everyone, all of us. And now if you put out, numbers that Trump doesn't like, you're going to get fired. Trump fires data statistics chief after large revision to jobs report. I want to go through all the details of this stuff. I know there's a lot to go through, but I want to keep you guys informed. I want to get your thoughts on these things. And it's just crazy. Every day I wake up and I have to check this stuff. It's like, is this even real? So yes, I verified this stuff to my knowledge, and I'll show you what's up. Trump positions nuclear submarines following criticism from former Russian leader. Okay. So here's a tweet out by Dmitry Medvedev. Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia, 50 days or 100 or 10. He should remember 2 things. Russia isn't Israel or even Iran. Each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road. What? Okay. Trump then is tweeting back here, based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation. I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then they start talking about like economies and more fighting. You have to hear it for yourself, because you realize like this is crazy, and it'll also capture the mindset that this guy's in, and you'll see, wow, we need to remove Trump immediately. I think you guys already knew this, but now we're getting to a stage where if we're like moving nuclear subs around and tweeting out locations of said subs, and getting mad at people on social media and then launching things. Obviously this is not a good situation. There's a lot of things that aren't good situations, but now we're getting immediate, like a clear and present danger is one way you could say it. Here's from Trump. I don't care what India does with Russia. They can take their dead economies down together for all I care. It's from Trump. We have done very little business with India. And I think Trump was threatening 25%, maybe 30% on India. It keeps changing. Their tariffs are too high, among the highest in the world. Likewise, Russia and USA do almost no business together. Let's keep it that way and tell Medvedev, the failed former president of Russia who thinks he's still president, to watch his words. He's entering very dangerous territory. That's from Trump. Medvedev responded Thursday with a statement saying, if a few words from a former Russian president can provoke such a nervous reaction from the sitting and supposedly formidable president of the United States, so he's taunting Trump here, supposedly formidable president of the United States, then clearly Russia is entirely in the right and will continue on its chosen path. As for his remarks about the, quote, dead economies of India and Russia and venturing into dangerous territory, perhaps he should revisit his favorite movies about the living dead and recall just how dangerous the mythical, quote, dead hand can be. And then I guess the dead hand referring to Russia's system for automatically launching nuclear strikes if a nuclear attack is detected against the country. So, of course, the markets are down. Dow tumbles 500 points, weak jobs data, right? New tariffs sparks a sell-off. This was Bloomberg. Bad news is bad news. Jobs data shatters Wall Street's calm. And, we're dealing with like every day what's going on. So also from Bloomberg, we'll read the description of this stuff. Many economists have noted that the Trump's punitive tariffs, right, the tariffs, and his attempt to single-handedly rewrite the rules of international trade. So that's Trump. He's always on his own, trying to unilaterally start wars, unilaterally do trade, unilaterally do everything, right, all by himself. And it's all for, Trump's glory. He wants to put his name everywhere in gold, all by himself. That's Trump. And it's interesting when I go through this stuff every day with you guys, how you have to report it seriously because it is serious, but it's also a joke at the same time because this stuff is so insane. Like on a daily basis, this stuff is crazy. Okay, single-handedly rewrite the rules of international trade are now undermining the economy. That lower rates that would help support it, right? So the problem is Trump, his policies are inflationary, raising tariffs going to raise the costs all on you. The economy then slows, so you can't really, you can try to cut rates, but then you got inflation problems. So it's like, what am I more worried about? Am I worried about the slowing economy or worried about runaway inflation? So the Fed, that's why they've been on hold. That's sort of what this is all about. Regarding the firing of the person who put out the job numbers recently, this is what Trump says. There's a lot, but I'll just read a little bit of it. I was just informed that our country's jobs numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica, the commissioner of the labor statistics, who faked the job numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chance of victory. This is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024. And then it goes on. The economy is booming under Trump, despite a Fed that also plays games and times with interest rates that were need to be lowered them twice, etc., blah, blah, blah. So Trump did fire said person, I guess. That has been reported. Trump's labor secretary is then like, oh, yes, I agree with Trump, right? I wholeheartedly with POTUS that our jobs numbers must be fair, accurate, and never manipulated for political purposes. A string of major revisions have come to light and raised concerns about the decision made by the Biden-appointed labor commissioner, right? So they're having a tweet storm and a frantic panic. Those job numbers are bad due to Trump's poor policy, right? And so then you fire the person numbers, you'll put in someone that you like. If you guys are curious what Trump's whole plan is, and I keep showing you guys this stuff because sometimes people don't believe me because it seems like so stupid, but this is their plan. They want to make America the crypto capital of the world. This is just an hour ago. So their idea is we're going to cut as many regulations as possible. So, if anyone's going to audit anyone's books, well, fire the auditors. If anyone's going to enforce, regulations on trading, this kind of stuff, well, fire anyone who regulates, right? You guys get the idea here. And then he'll put out videos of how much he loves crypto. And this is actually a real tweet by the Trump people today. I know it's laughable. Look at this picture and like stuff they use. They put Trump in a boxing, having like a championship type thing. And it says POTUS versus global trade order. U.S. delivers knockout win. It's funny, it's sad, it's crazy. Trillions of new investments they claim, and they claim billions of market access. So, I read this stuff because it illustrates the sort of crazy timeline that we're on. President Trump delivered a knockout win over the distorted global trading order that has disadvantaged American workers, farmers, and manufacturers for decades. That's what they say. J.D. Vance then is saying, hey guys, I was told 6 months ago the American losing jobs and foreign-born gaining jobs was an irreversible demographic fact. Okay, so I guess we're celebrating that more Native Americans are getting jobs, supposedly. That's what we're saying here. And then you have this. I know there's a lot of news to go over, but I want to keep you guys informed. Someone at the Fed has announced they're going to retire early. This was the headlines just a few minutes ago. Federal Reserve Governor Kugler, part of the committee that sets interest rates, is resigning. This is actually happening. So this would be give Trump an opening to put one of his people in there. I think he's got 2 people in there now. That's effectively. I don't think there's any necessary shenanigans with this thing. Just giving Trump opportunity because she was scheduled to leave already. I'll read it and you'll see. Quote, has been an honor of a lifetime to serve on the board of governors of the Federal Reserve System. I'm especially honored to have served during a critical time in achieving our dual mandate of bringing down prices and keeping a strong, resilient labor board. Okay. But it then says here, Kugel's term was set to expire at the end of January 2026. Okay. So, I mean, she was scheduled to go soon. And then I guess she was offered another job. I think she's going to teach at Georgetown. So, I don't think there's any shenanigans with that. I'm just telling you the truth on that one. But yes, Trump will put one of his people in there, and ultimately he's going to try to push out more people. This particular one, I mean, I'll just say what it is. The person stepping down, and Trump will try to put one of his people in. We'll leave it at that. And then you have this, which is also related. Corporation for Public Broadcasting shutting down after federal funding rescission. So, if you grew up in USA, I did. So I grew up watching Sesame Street and Reading Rainbow and Bob Ross and, any number of shows on. In my mind, I can't think of the name of the show. It was the one where they bring in the antiques, is like Antiques Roadshow. And, they say, oh my God, dude, I've been having this painting in my grandma's attic and it's worth like $1 million. The show. But all of these things on public broadcasting, it's for the public education, right? And Trump's completely against education, doesn't want educated people at all. The same way he doesn't want anyone reporting any kind of reasonable or real numbers out there. He just wants like this crazy inflated stuff to inflate his ego. And then he'll distract you with whatever. Some people say, Chris, this is all about the Epstein thing. We can talk about that. I mention it from time to time. If there's big movements on that stuff, I'll say, hey, there's big movements on that stuff. But I think, honestly, that's just a part of a larger picture of the corrupt persona and the corrupt practices by Trump for decades. Right? Not just like wake up one day and Trump's a bad person. It's just been going on for years. I've told you guys about the movie The Apprentice. If you haven't seen it, you should see that. It just talks about Trump's early years. It shows you he's been doing this kind of stuff for a long time. And it's a shame and a tragedy and, complete disaster that Trump is president right now. I know it, guys. I mean, I literally see everything. And, right now, we just need to be honest about everything that's happening. And if you are a Republican out there or you're working in Trump's administration, show some guts here and do the right thing, guys. We can't have this guy in office. It's obvious. The problem is that we just had an election, and the way that I already know how that would play out, right? The way they would paint that in Fox News and says, "Oh, see, the other side doesn't, value elections and this kind of stuff," right? That's how they'll play that. So they'll take that as an attack on democracy. And it's sad because Trump is clearly the one who's attacking democracy. Like literally had his supporters storm the Capitol. You guys know this. In January 6th, they lie on a daily basis, guys. I know it. I see it, and he just does these erratic things. It's all self-serving. It's only for him. He just wanted to put money in his pocket. He doesn't care at all about regular people. And so when I see this stuff, like nothing is surprising anymore. You get bad job numbers. You fire the jobs person. Things are going bad with you, whatever scandals, whatever. You try to start a war, start announcing nuclear threats by moving your nuclear subs around. Like he shows no signs of humanity. He's all in it for himself. Isn't it crazy that this guy's in charge of everything? So that's where we are right now. And just guys, if you feel like the whole world's gone mad and you feel like you're alone and like why isn't someone do something? I just want to know you're not alone, and that's why I'm saying. It's really, we need to get Trump's own people to take, take some real action here and come to your senses that you serve the Constitution and you serve the people. Don't, and this is what Trump people would do. They put out a bunch of loyalty tests before you go work and say, oh, who do you value more, Trump or the Constitution? Oh, you have to vote for Trump, right? But I'm telling you guys, it's you need to put the Constitution first and the American people first. That's who you work for. So that's my thoughts on this stuff. I want to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.